It's been a day of high-speed headlines topped by chaos and carnage in South Florida. A shooting erupted at a high school in Parkland this afternoon, with at least 17 people dead and more than a dozen wounded. Police swarmed the site even as emergency workers treated and transported the wounded to hospitals, and frantic parents arrived. The suspect was arrested and identified as Nicholas Cruz, who once attended the school.
He is in custody, and we've already began to dissect his websites and the things that social media that he was on, and some of the things that have come to mind are very, very disturbing. He's 19 years old. He was born in 1998 in September. He was a former student of Douglas High School. He got expelled for disciplinary reasons. I don't know the specifics.
For more, we turn to Terrence Shepard, who is the news director of WLRN. That is the public media station based in Miami. He's on the scene in Parkland. Terrence Shepard, tell us what you are seeing there.
The scene earlier was horrific. I was at the intersection that leads into the school, and so you have kids breaking down crying because they didn't know where their friends were. We had parents absolutely in explosive demeanor because they didn't know the status of their children. I later talked to a kid who was in the classroom next door to where the shooting started, and he tells me that there was a fire alarm early in the day, and then there was a second fire alarm, so he was curious about what's the second fire alarm about. We had a second fire alarm, so he left. They were told to leave the classroom and to take their backpacks, which he found unusual. And leaving the classroom, he came across bodies, he said. An absolutely horrible scene here.
It sounds unimaginable. Terrence Shepard, tell us, are they still investigating the scene? Are there still parents standing around waiting for more information?
No. So they've shuttled students to two pickup locations nearby. At the scene, the main street is blocked off still. So they're basically just hangers-on, people seeing what's going on. But it's still a crime scene, and I imagine that'll be that way for a while.
Tell us a little bit about this area, Parkland. It's a suburban area?
It's suburban. It's somewhat rural. Parkland has a lot of homes with large lots. There's a considerable equestrian community, people with tennis courts and so on in their homes, multiple movie theaters in the homes. The upper middle class. It is, I hate to say it, but it's the last place you'd think that this type thing would happen. It's really a nice area. It's a place you want to live and raise your kids.
And that's what I was going to ask. Is this a place that has seen shootings, violent crime a great deal in the past?
Not that I can recall, and I've been here 3 decades. No, it's a great place to live, this entire area. It's not a place that's known for any type crime. You may have some minor breaking and enterings, a couple of car thefts, but other than that, no.
Well, Terrence Shepard, the news director for the public media station WLRN, we thank you very much.
Thanks, Judy.
So today's shooting is at least the 5th at a middle or high school in the first 2 months of this year that has led to deaths or injuries. There have also been shootings near or on the grounds of other schools this year where students and teachers were not injured. Ronald Stevens is the executive director of the National School Safety Center. Ronald Stevens, it's no longer shocking now when there's a school shooting, is it?
It's happening far too often and far too many times, and every administrator who has faced this, they've always said they never thought it would happen here, and yet these events are coming to so many unexpected communities at so many unexpected times.
Do you believe, you've been working on this issue with your organization for a long time, do you believe schools today are better prepared when something like this happens?
My take is they are much better prepared. Our center had actually worked with Broward County Schools nearly a decade ago, and they were among one of the first school systems in the United States to really bring together all of the first responders and look at how they would react when a problem like this occurs. So in terms of preparation, I would really describe them as someone being on the cutting edge.
And so what would that mean? What would make them cutting edge? What would that mean they would do?
Well, they put school safety on the agenda ahead of many other school systems around the country. But basically, in the training they brought.
Our apologies there. We lost that interview that we were doing, and we'll try to resume that in just a few minutes. But right now, we are joined on the phone by Michael Udine. He's a Broward County, Florida commissioner. He's the former mayor of Parkland, where the shooting took place, and he's a parent of a student at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High. Mr. Udine, what a terrible day.
It's a terrible day. I just actually saw some of the students and one of the teachers that were in the classroom. They're in a safe place now, and just a crazy, senseless tragedy.
What have you learned about what happened? Have you been able to get any more information?
Well, 17 people are confirmed fatalities. I know that they're operating on some others right now. Besides that, I don't have really much more details. The scene is quite active right now as far as people. I know the governor is on his way. SWAT team is still out here, and they're just securing the location over there. And just a sad, I saw one of the teachers whose room some children perished, and I knew the teacher well, and she was hysterical.
Oh, well, we are so sorry to hear this. Is it fair to say now that parents of children who were hurt or worse now know what has happened?
I think that they're starting to hear. I don't think it's been officially released, but with social media and with kids and Snapchat and the different social media platforms, parents are starting to get some pretty tragic news.
It sounds like from what you're describing, and you said it yourself, that this is just about the last place you would expect something like this to happen. We were just speaking with a reporter who described it as a quiet suburban area.
This is a quiet suburban town. We have a police officer stationed in the school. We have sheriff's deputy in all of our schools in Parkland, and it's just a complete and utter tragedy.
We were saying that you're the parent of a student there. Have you talked to your own, is it your son or daughter?
I talked to my daughter. She's home. She's fine. My niece, I spoke to my sister, whose daughter was in one of the classrooms hiding in a closet. Thank God she's home and she's fine. And my daughter and I just exchanged texts that we love each other, because what more can you say at a time like this?
Michael Udine, do you know if the school had procedures in place to deal with something like this?
Yes, they did. Broward County, our school board, our local police department, we actually have an officer in that school that's stationed in that school. There was a quick response, and, I'm at a loss for words on it.
Yeah, because one wants to ask, is there some way to prevent something like this? And I know others have said it. If someone is determined to get in, then there's very little to stop them, I guess.
Sadly, I guess so.
Well, Michael Udine, we thank you very much, and our heart goes out to you and all the others in your community. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.